Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream today. Hi. So today we are going to be talking with Cyyu. First, before I start getting off on my spiel, just want to double check that the sound is okay for all of y'all. Sound all right for all y'all out there? Okay, I did just hear a giant alert. You were just talking about. Okay, that one is off. Okay, so we got another one.
Okay.
Destroyed. another alert hunted down and eliminated without mercy. Okay, everyone sounds good.
On site.
Yes. Okay, so welcome everyone to the Buncast today. I am extremely excited to welcome Cyyu here, aka Alejandro Saab, aka the voice actor behind many characters from what I've seen. Two of my very favorite game characters, Sino from Genshin Impact, Jing Yuan from Honkai Star Rail. But like I said, you've been the voice of many characters. People can even choose your voice as an option for their own custom characters in Street Fighter 6.
Yes, yeah, in
That
Street
was
Fighter
so
6.
cool. That was like the deep one, right? It's like, let's see how you do.
Actually, I think for that one it was
Or is it
just,
not
I think for that one it was more my energetic voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for that one, yeah.
Okay. Did you get to decide what to say for your get 'em line?
we came up with a few different ideas because even though they were custom created voices, they wanted to give each one a bit of a personality.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. Mine would probably be like, "Come at me, bro."
I feel that's something that Alex Lee would have made Luke say.
Okay.
I feel like he did do that for a parody, actually.
Anyways, so look it up. Actually, one of the characters I was most surprised to see that you had voiced was Papuko from Pop Team Epic.
Yeah,
How did this happen? What are you
So this happened back, I think, in 2017 with the first season of Pop Team Epic. Something that's weird about Pop Team Epic is that they have the same episode run twice.
Right.
But the first time around it's female actors, and then the second time around it's male presenting voices. And what they do for every episode, they change it up. They change the cast every single episode.
Oh my god.
I was only Popco in episode 4 of season 1 on the B side.
Oh man.
But yeah, I think it was me and David Wald, and it was the episode where we had to sing Antis and Believers Get Down, Let's Pop Together.
Oh, you have a nice voice. You have
Thanks.
a beautiful singing voice. I love Pop Team Epic. I love the part where they're like, Okota Nayo. Anyway, I say that all the time. When things are not okay, you just have Okota Nayo. Anyways, I wanted to ask you about your voice acting as a career. This is kind of a boring question, but usually gets interesting responses when I ask, how did you get started in this whole thing, Cyyu? Voice acting.
Well, I was introduced to it by a buddy of mine back in 2011, but I didn't really know what it was. I can't remember if I was either about to be, it was around 9th grade or the end of 8th grade for me that I was introduced to what voiceover was, because we would make these short films called machinimas.
Oh, I did that.
Yeah. So we would make Halo machinimas, just parodies, and then eventually went to Minecraft. And, but that was kind of my intro into it. And then I, with time, my junior year of high school, I was like, you know what? I've been doing this as a hobby. Let me do some research, see what it's about. Mm-hmm. And I listened to a bunch of different podcasts, read some books. And then my senior year of high school, I took acting, theater and writing in theater, to see if I liked it.
Okay.
And I liked it a lot. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll be an animator, because I was studying to be an animator the whole time and an actor. Mm-hmm. And then I went to SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design in Georgia, for a year, and I hated it.
Oh man.
Well, I didn't hate it. The school is great. I just was miserable animating.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, then I dropped out.
I see.
And then I moved to Texas, and then I got recommended by a bunch of friends to what is now Crunchyroll, formerly Funimation. And I started, my very first professional thing was Fairy Tail back in November of 2015.
Oh, with Fairy Tail. Now I know about that.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, so what was it about animating that you didn't like? Just out of curiosity.
I think what it was for me was that so at Savannah, at SCAD, we had to animate with pencil and paper. And I was busting my ass off animating up until like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And my final project, I got a fucking B after working for so long. And I was like, I didn't have fun at all. And for me, if I'm not having fun, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
So,
yeah.
That was the moment I realized. Yeah.
So have you dabbled in any animation since then? Hello?
Yes, I did actually. It's definitely more of a hobby. I did back in like 2017, 2018. I got really into animated stories, like The Odd Ones Out, Let Me Explain Studios, phenomenal animators like Jaden Animations and all these other like creators on YouTube. And I was like, oh, I want to try that. Because for me, when it comes to like even making content on YouTube or just like doing anything, I was like, I want to try it out. I want to see if I like it. And I did like 3 videos and I did it all myself. And I was like, I did enjoy myself. I do not have the time to make these. So,
yeah.
But that I like the animated stories because I like telling stories. It's something that I do on my streams, just telling stories of like what has happened to me at conventions or just in my life and just like kind of ramble. So part of me is tempted to hire an animator and be like, hey, remember that story I told? I need you to animate it, please.
You should totally do that.
Yeah.
I mean, but you're pretty animated already.
Hey! Well, yes. VTubing.
I've got so many dad jokes for you today.
Oh, I've got a book. I've got a list. Fans have given me 2 dad joke books, but also I have my own personal list. So now that you brought that up, I'm gonna have it pulled up.
Oh no. Okay, well, anyway, let's talk a little bit about voiceovers.
Sure.
Can you share the process, what it was like to audition for your role in Genshin first?
So, interestingly enough, for Sino, it was weird because, like, when they first sent off the audition for Sino, it was pretty typical. Hey, here's an audition. Here's a bunch of different characters. Read for whoever. The project was under an alias, like a pseudonym, because it's like they don't want people to know that it's Genshin, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember, but they change it up every single time because the names get obvious,
Was it like Genshin Impact?
No, it was like Hawaiian Dolphin Surfer or something.
Okay.
And then, but the thing is, they change it up every batch, because then next time people were like, oh, I didn't read for Hawaiian Dolphin Surfer last time. I'll keep an eye out for Hawaiian Dolphin Surfer next time.
Right.
But next time it's called like Hamburger Helper 25 or something. So,
okay.
But for Cyno, they sent off like it was Cyno, Tainari, Alhaitham, I think it was Nilu, like Candace, like it was like a slew of characters, right? And that was back in May of last year. No, wait, sorry, of 22. Yeah, 22, because last year was Fontaine. Yeah, it was 22.
Mm-hmm.
And wait, was it last year? No, we're in 2024. That's why. Yes, that's why I'm confused. Yes, it was 22. And I didn't hear anything until August, which normally that doesn't happen. With Genshin, because it's a live service game and they constantly have to update it, they they have to be pretty quick when it comes to casting. With this, they were it was strange because if the audition was in May, I should have started working in like June, maybe the second half of June. But we recorded all of Sino that last week of August, right before the week right before they announced him, like drip marketing, and they announced me.
Oh.
Which normally never happens. But I remember I got a phone call in August being like, hey, we still haven't cast this character and we want you to read on it. And I was like, oh yeah, sure, absolutely. It's like, are you free this Friday for a callback? And I'm like, yeah, 100%. And I was like, cool. I was freaking out because I'm a fan of Genshin. So I was like, yeah, please, absolutely. And then I did the audition, and then it was the longest week of my life because they would have told me by Friday the following week if I got it. And I got an email the following Friday being like, hey, next week, your hours, we need you for the entire week for 4 hours, like every day. And I remember reading that, I was crying, and I was like,
it's amazing. I mean, I cannot imagine anyone else voicing this character.
Well,
it is
you.
Iconic.
I'm glad.
So I guess once they knew you already, that probably made it easier for Jinguan later on, right? They just give you a call.
Well, funny enough.
No?
No. So here's the thing with Jing Yuan. They're two different casting directors. It's two different studios, two different projects. Like they don't like communicate. Like the directors do communicate, being like, "Hey, do you recommend so and so?" like that, but they don't have a say in who gets cast and who doesn't, like interchangeably. Right? It's two separate casting directors. I auditioned for Jing Yuan before Cyno.
What?
Yeah, I auditioned for Jing Yuan in 2021.
Oh.
And then I got a call back in, I think, February of 2022. And the voice they wanted in the callback originally was a lot lighter because the voice is so lower, but the original Jing Yuan voice was like closer to my voice. Like it was just like, I am Jing Yuan. Hi. Like it was something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then months later, it was, I think, the week or two after I finished Cyno, that they were like, hey, you've booked Jing Yuan. And I was like, what? Is this allowed?
The stars aligned.
Because at the time, a lot of us were like, oh, if you're in one, you can't be in the other. Right?
Right.
But
not true.
I was pleasantly surprised. And then I got in the studio and the director was like, okay, cool. So this is what we're thinking. We have your audition. They listened back and they're like, I had worked with the director prior on a different game. We had worked on a game called Lost Ark. And he knew that I could go lower. And he was like, could you actually make it lower? And I was like, yeah. And we like experimented. And he's like, whatever you just did, please keep it like that. And I was like, well, that's better for me because it's vastly different than Cyno.
Yeah.
So
awesome. That's that must have been like a pretty amazing feeling to like get.
Yeah.
both of these.
It was really funny because they were describing Jing Yuan to me. It's like, yeah, he's a general. He's like a little lazy. He uses lightning. And I was like, the internet's gonna have a field day with this one.
Do you feel like you have an electrovision like IRL?
I have to at this point because I also voice Akihiko in Persona 3 Reload, which is about to drop, and he's also lightning with white hair.
Yeah.
So I feel like at this point, yes, if I ever had a vision in real life, it has to be electro/lightning.
Yes, absolutely. So I guess you knew about the game Honkai before anyone else knew, of course, but you couldn't say.
With Star Rail, like I knew it was a Hoyoverse project. I wasn't too sure about it. I had seen gameplay through like betas that people had posted online, but I didn't know much about the game. I just knew that it was connected to Honkai Impact Third Impact. I always mess that up.
I also messed that up. Okay, so this might be a stupid question, but how do you like get in character for a role?
It depends, I will say. there have been times where like I'll look at a character and I'm just like, okay, this is just me. I'm working on an anime right now that it's kind of like a blank canvas, because it's called The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic. And I'm the lead in this, and he's like a soft boy, but then he has comedic moments. And I was like, oh, I can kind of be like every like facet of myself. You know, I can be the wholesome side. I can be the fucking weird side. And I've seen a bunch of the comments be like, this is just Cyyu. And I'm like, yeah, honestly, yeah. But with the characters, it depends. I do draw inspiration from certain folks from time to time. I will not deny a lot of people with Yuan. They're like, man, this kind of reminds me of Zhongli. And I was like, well, yeah, 100%. That is the inspiration for me. It was Zhongli from Genshin. But for Sino, I don't know. It's like, one of the things I have, one of my teachers was and is Richard Horvitz, who voices Invader Zim and Moxie and Hell of a Boss and a bunch of a slew of things. And the way he taught me was like, every audition is an opportunity. It's a story to tell. So it's like our job is to audition. It's to play pretend and play pretend fully, right? So it's so weird to describe. I know this makes me sound so artsy fartsy, but like it's hard to describe because sometimes it's just in the moment, you know?
Yes.
That's why I highly recommend improv to people who like want to get into voiceover. Because sometimes it's just a feeling, you know, because the way it is that like the more informed you are, the less you have to like think about it, because every character has a want and you just have to find out what that want is. Because if you don't find it, then the want is you wanting to book the role rather than playing pretend, right? Yeah.
I totally respect that. I'm really into mindfulness, so I appreciate the like, you know, getting centered on the moment and what you're actually doing instead of like whatever, you know, what this role is, all this outside stuff. It's just
rather than playing like an archetype, play the character, because every character is distinct and has like, you know, a thing to them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you ever have like, when you're recording, are there writers around listening, like making sure that the voice aligns with their?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. No. There is for different clients, but there are someone from Hoyo specifically for the Honkai games is on the line. One for Genshin and one for Star Rail. But they are different people. They're not the same people, because if not, there's no way they would be able to do it. They'd be in like 5 different voice recordings at the same time. But it's just to make sure the pronunciation is consistent, which sometimes it isn't, because like when you have different writers or different folks that are keeping track of the pronunciation, they'll have their own way of pronouncing things. Like I feel like it's a little bit more consistent with Star Rail, because I mean they I think consistently for the Cienjo Lafu, they had one person be like, oh, it's more on the Joe in Cienjo and then Lafu. It's very specific. But in comparison to Liu, which everyone has said it differently in every way known to man, Liu, Liwei,
Yes.
which half of them, if not 90% of them, are wrong.
What's the right way to say that?
I have no idea. I can't say it.
I don't know either. I was hoping you could tell me.
No, absolutely not. I have a friend constantly teaching me how to say it, who happens to be in Star Rail, funny enough, not playing one of the Asian-inspired characters, even though he is Asian. And anytime he hears us say Cienjo Lafu, he's like, you motherfucker. But the reason for that is because they're trying to like Americanize it, or just make it as easily accessible to like English speaking audiences, right?
Right. So have you ever had a situation where the writers are listening in on you recording and they're giving you different advice, but it's confusing, and it's like they're like keep giving you mixed signals with okay, do it low, no, do it high. and you don't know what they really want, and maybe they don't know what they want also.
That did happen with the very first session of Cyno.
Really?
Yeah, that actually did happen because they were like, oh, we want we love his performance, but we wanted to sound more like this guy who auditioned. Oh. And the director was like, we're not doing that. So the director is kind of like that, like
nice.
that shield kind of barrier, that like the in between, the intermediate. But usually the director's the one who will give the actor like what how we should say a line or what the situation is like, and if anything, to give more context to the situation, that's why the writer is there. So it's like, in this scene we're doing this, but take it away so and so to explain like the overarching story of this scenario, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. What was your favorite line or moment that you have performed?
If we're ever or in Genshin and Honkai?
Okay, let's start with ever. Ever. Best.
Oh, man.
Is that too hard of a question?
I mean,
you've had so many roles.
Okay. It's tough because it's like I've had the fortune. I've been very fortunate enough to work on a lot of stuff that I grew up with, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, Pokemon for one. I got to voice Leon, who is literally the last fight that Ash has in the series before he retires, and goes looking for his dad because his dad won't look for him. That's a joke. But like, I mean, I love doing Pokemon, and I remember the first time I got to say like Charizard use Fire Blast, because Charizard was my favorite Pokemon growing up. Mm-hmm. It was, to me, it was surreal, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. But I gotta say, like, one of my favorite things to record was saying Persona in Persona 3 Reload. Like, just, I remember even the director was like, do you want to do it again? Do you want to take a moment? And I remember I was just giddy and running around the room. And I mean that literally. I don't mean like he. I mean like I just like, I was like, dude, what the fuck?
You got to say the thing.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
As for Genshin,
yeah,
I really liked it when they let me say it's time to duel for the Genius Invocation TCG. Because they knew. So the funny thing is, when we recorded for Sino at first, there was a moment where Sino was talking about a light novel, which is obviously a reference to Yu-Gi-Oh! Uh-huh. But the writer for Genshin didn't write that specific line, so they didn't understand the reference, and the director was like, what? And I was like, guys, it's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Reference. And they're like, is it? And I'm like, yes! Oh my god, the Crocodile King! Genius Invocation TCG, please, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! And they're like, sure. And then later, when they introduced the Genius Invocation TCG mode, we had to record a whole new set of lines, and the writer wrote those scenes. And one of the lines that Sino had was time to duel, and I giggled. And the writer goes, you know what, Alejandro, say it's time to duel, because that's the line from Yu-Gi-Oh! And I remember I got so giddy that I did it, but not in the Sino voice. I did it in like a Dan Green who voiced Yugi like impression. So I went, it's time to do, and before I could even finish it, they're like, in the Sino voice. And I was like, oh, all right, my bad. But that's what's in the game. Which is really cool.
That's hilarious. I can see that you have a lot of fun at work. I love
it's a
to
blast.
see.
I'm very fortunate with the folks I get to work with.
Man, there's so many good moments that Sino had in Jing Yuan. It's the ones I'm most familiar with. I love the part at the end of Sumeru where Sino's like, you can only see the world in your mind, the one you think you know.
I really like I use Forbidden Hand. And I was like, this is so goofy. I love it. I love whenever Sino makes a joke. They're awful.
Yes, I love it. I think that it really speaks to your talent that you have. I don't know how you managed it, but you've managed to really make me believe in serious Sino and memer Sino at the same time. Like, to me, it's like absolutely, there was never a moment where I was like, this is weird. No, I was just like, yeah, this makes complete sense. I think that's because of you.
It's just, the thing is that there's Sino has his 2 modes. He's on the clock. He's on the job. That's serious Sino.
Yeah.
Then when he's off the clock and gets to be like, relax a little, that's when he gets to, it's like, all right, pulls out his deck of genius invocation cards, pulls out his tome. And just, it's like, hey, you guys want to play while I tell terrible jokes?
Yes.
Yeah.
He works hard, plays hard.
Exactly. Exactly.
I respect it. Do you personally, Cyyu, do you like Genius Invocation TCG?
I haven't played it in a bit. I literally played it the other day for the first time in a few months. And I was like, man, they added a ranked mode. I've never done ranked before. I don't know if we can do this, chat. And let me tell you, it's like riding a bike. I destroyed the shit out of that other person. I had them by the throat. I was like, man, chat, you know what it is? When you're just good, you're just good.
Oh my god.
It was really funny.
Oh my god, it's fucking hilarious. Okay, so I wanted to ask, this is such a stupid question. I can't believe I put this like, oh my god, I'm gonna say it. How has Genshin impacted your personal life?
Oh, I will say it's really changed my life for the better. Like, obviously there's no denying that like Genshin has had some ups and downs, like between like certain dramas, like not just like what's currently happening, but like throughout it all, like it's impacted my life for the better. Haha, there it is.
Yeah, gosh, you say it.
Yeah, of course. But no, like I've met a lot of cool fans. I've had the opportunity to go to more conventions and meet folks, and it's funny because I'm a fan of the game. So I like literally just me playing the game on stream, like folks are like, oh, like everybody expects me to like have a really shitty account, like when they first saw my account, but then they're like, oh wait, you actually have characters. You build these. Oh shit. I mean, now they're not as built, but I need to work on some builds. Sino especially, like he has a decent build, but it's more like a B- build than like a B+, Mm-hmm. Everybody was making fun of me because I didn't have Nahida's weapon. My Nouvelette's didn't have his weapon leveled up. So just like things here and there. Artifact, man. Artifact hunting is just the bane of my existence.
It's horrible.
Yeah. Bring in reserved resin, please.
Right?
It'll make it so much bearable.
Are you a whale? Are you whaling?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, me too.
I have a C6 R5 Sino.
Oh my god.
Dude, I was whaling before I was in the game. Me and the director of the game, Chris Fiella, we used to play Genshin every night during pandemic. And literally, I'd log into Discord and he'd be like, Alejandro, $100? And I was like, all right, I'll drop $100.
Oh no.
We would drop like $100 like every night. And because of that, I have a C6 Zhongli, a C6 Tartaglia, a C6 Albedo. I have way too many C6s.
So what? This is kind of a nuclear question. What's better, Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail?
Okay. I'll tell you this. I personally prefer Honkai Star Rail. And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
It's because the scale is smaller at the moment. The reason why is because Honkai Star Rail has a lot of quality of life things that Genshin should be adding.
But they're not doing that.
But they're not doing that yet. Hopefully in the future.
Okay.
But like, I mean, within like the first 3 months, they increased the Trailblazer power. They increased. They gave us reserve Trailblazer power.
Right.
And as much as I would like this, I don't think Genshin could ever do an auto battle. But the auto grinding in Honkai Star Rail is so much easier. Like everybody that says that it's like, oh, you could just jump into Genshin, do your dailies, and you're done. And I was like, no,
Yeah.
That's not how I would play Genshin. But on Honkai Star Rail, you literally can do that. You can do other things while grinding in Star Rail.
For me, it's like, it's like, tell me you've never farmed samurais without telling me you've never farmed the samurais, because that's been pretty unpleasant for me, because I have like 5 characters that need those fucking things, and then their weapons need those fucking things.
Here's the thing. I also personally prefer Star Rail because I'm a fanatic for sci-fi.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
It's literally a space comedy.
Oh my god.
Like, that's how they've described it. I also feel like everything consumption-wise is better. Like, pacing is faster in Star Rail. Because, like, Star Rail, like, if I do a companion quest, I know I'll finish this in an hour and 30. But I know that a character quest in Genshin will take me, like, 3 hours.
Oh, but
if
I
not
love
longer.
those. I love the character quests.
I do love them, but I feel like with Genshin, half the character quests are like, kind of like fillerish. Like, the majority of said quest up until like either the beginning or the end is where like the stuff you want is there.
Well, I guess I haven't done enough yet to really speak to that. But oh man, you said you're a big sci-fi fan. Man, we could derail this whole buncast, you know? We're gonna start talking about Star Trek, Star Wars.
Oh god, not
oh
like
no!
That. Star Wars, yes. Star Wars, yes. I never got into Star Trek.
Did you ever watch the original series? Oh my god, we're way off track.
No.
But just tell me that.
No, I've never seen Star Trek. I've never divulged into anything. I'm definitely a Star Wars nerd.
You've got to watch Next Generation. I'm telling you.
Next Generation.
You gotta watch TNG. You gotta do it.
That sounds like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to me.
Yeah, so it's pretty good.
But before I get away and people think that I hate Genshin.
You better.
I really do like Genshin. I do like Genshin, but I also acknowledge that Genshin needs a lot of fixes.
Yes.
For me, I know a lot of people have complaints with the rewards, which rightfully so. But for me, because and this only applies to me because I'm a whale, right? As a whale, I think overall what Genshin needs to help the longevity of it is 3 to 4 things. Number 1, get rid of the you can only grind for these certain materials this day.
Right. Yes.
Because that is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially, and I had completely forgotten about that until the other day because I was so engrossed in Star Rail, because you can do that any day of the week, right? But I go to Genshin and I was like, oh man, I need to level up New Valet's weapon. It's Wednesday. I don't have the material.
Yeah, it's like wait till Saturday when you're totally not busy, right? Or Sunday.
Exactly. But and I understand the method to the madness is the thing, because they want players to come back, right? They want players to come back like every other day to grind for specific characters. But at that point, folks are going to forget unless they have a specific calendar dedicated to Genshin.
Yeah, exactly.
Number 2, I think the best thing they could do is add reserved like resin.
Yes.
Because I thought when Star Rail added that, I was like, oh my God, this is game changing. If Genshin had this, holy crap, the amount of hours I would play Genshin, insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree.
Number 3, their expeditions. Let me be able to send characters to get ascension materials.
Yes, that's right.
If you allow me to at least send off characters to get like, I don't know, 5 ascension materials, even that, it'll help. It'll go miles, right?
Yes.
And to that, the 4th thing, when I'm out in the world, the fact that it takes me 2 to 3 days for those exact ascension materials to respawn is silly. It should respawn within 24 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think with those 4 things, I know that not a lot of people will agree with this, but for me, and again, I'm a whale,
Same.
I think for me, I would rather that than more rewards, because if I have the reserved resin, I can come in and out whenever I want, and I'll have so much resin. The ascension materials, it'll just be easier to build characters, and again, this is the biggest whale problem that you will ever hear. I have too many characters to build.
Oh, no.
I have every character in the game. And I run out of materials on both Pages and Mora to be able to level up all my characters to 90.
Do you have
I have
Shannon?
all of my Sumeru characters. I have 4 of the Fontaine characters and some random characters that I really like to 90. But other than that, the rest are like maybe 40.
Do you have the new one, Shannon?
Yeah, I literally pulled her last night.
Oh my god! I thought I was gonna.
I have
thought I would
Genshin
get
as well.
Man, I thought that would be a gotcha.
Yeah. Nope.
No.
Well, it is a gotcha.
It
But
is
not
a gotcha.
that
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, Cyyu for president. Who agrees?
No.
Who agrees?
No.
After this 4-point plan, who agrees in the chat?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay.
But I will say, I do feel like if those changes get implemented to Genshin at some point, I don't expect. That's also the thing. Okay, I'm going on a rant. I'm sorry. That's also the thing I don't like. Everybody shits on Genshin because Honkai is getting all these updates so fast. I love that Honkai is getting all these quality of life updates.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that they're able to do that because the scale of the game is so much smaller in comparison. It's also not as much content. Like Genshin has 3 years worth of content, and it's this vast open world game. And of course, it's gonna take longer for Genshin to implement these things. While Honkai, it's gonna be a lot faster.
That's true and good to remember.
Yeah, I also will say that people that say that Genshin doesn't have content, I'm gonna have to disagree. It's just that you've done the content, but like a brand new player that comes into the game has 3 years worth of content. The difference is that you just started day one and you're doing all the content at once.
Right. Like I started about a year ago, and I'm overwhelmed with the amount of stuff to do. But
where are you?
I finished Fontaine, but I have like big parts of the map that are unexplored.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Would Sino and Jinguan be friends?
I personally think so, because they both have their modes of when they're off the clock, they're very easygoing, but when they're both on the clock, they get serious.
Yeah.
So I do think, though, they would simultaneously be playing chess or whatever game Jing Yuan was playing with Yang Qing. I can't call that chess because it doesn't look, or shogi, it doesn't look like that. I don't really know what that game is, but I feel like they'd be playing that plus Genius Invocation TCG at the same time.
Multitasking.
Yeah, they have 2 tables set up next to each other.
That makes sense. Well, I guess I should ask, well, who would win in a fight then? If they were going to fight.
That's tough. But I am going to say, and I swear to God, folks are going to be like, he's dick riding. I'm going to say Jing Yuan.
I think so too.
And the only reason I say Jing Yuan is because he faced a borderline deity.
Yeah.
And he also has the Thunder Lord. However, I do think Sino would put up a fight.
Yeah, it wouldn't be easy. He would give him a run for his money. Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. This is another really stupid question. What kind of pet would Jing Yuan have? What? What kind of pet do you think Jing Yuan would have? Perhaps a huge iguana?
Oh no, he has a snow lion. He actually has a snow lion. Or had. Oh
yeah, he had the snow lion. Yeah, it sounded a lot better in my head. Huge. Yeah,
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand the joke.
I wrote it down last night.
For.
About 2:00 in the morning. I thought that was pretty clever. Now it doesn't sound quite the same. Anyway, how do you maintain, like, do you have a work-life balance that you feel is healthy? Because the thing I really have enjoyed about finding out about you so far is that you seem to have a lot of fun with your job, but is there ever a time where you feel like it is work? Like this is work. Like
yes.
I got to get serious. And it's like, it's confusing because your work is also your play, but you want to play. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
do you have that problem?
I will say, so how I function, I don't know. Because I, from 9 to 6, dedicate to voiceover, while 6 to like 1 a.m. maybe I dedicate to streaming. And I get so many of my friends asking me, being like, how do you have so much energy? And I'm like, I don't know. And here's the thing, I'm traveling back and forth between Texas and LA for work every now and then. The other day, this was the least fun I had. I had an audition, but they wanted me in person in Los Angeles. But I also had a concert the next day, aka yesterday, to go to the Near concert in Texas. So I was like, I'm going to be in Los Angeles for 24 hours.
Oh my God.
That sucks.
Wow.
And not only that, I had to drive an hour and 30 minutes out from where I landed because that's where my place is in LA. So,
oh man.
And I had fun with the audition, but I was like, this hour and a half drive killed me.
Yeah,
because it's an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back. And this audition was 20 minutes. So I'm just like, this is the part of the job I hate. Yeah. But there have been times where I've been in the booth and I'm like, this is silly. Like, I don't know. Sometimes it's like a director's supposed to direct, but then when they micromanage everything you do, it takes away from the fun, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That makes complete sense to me. Can you do an impression of another character from Genshin?
Oh, an impression of another character.
Yeah, but do it in a totally unexpected voice.
Oh, man.
Okay. First do it in a regular voice, and then do it unexpected.
Okay, now when you say regular voice, you mean doing an impression of the character, what they sound like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any character.
All right. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse.
Oh no! Don't do that! Why don't do that one? I'm gonna have to get out of here. Oh my God, don't do that one. Oh my God, I should have said.
Well, too late. And then, in a completely different voice. Oh, man. Arataki numero uno ito.
Oh, no!
Because that's not what he sounds like.
No, it isn't. That's super funny.
What he sounds like is Arataki numero uno ito.
Wow, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I love Max. He does such a great job.
It's just like in the most recent event, he said something like, "That's like a bean in my heart," and I just thought this was one of the funniest things I've ever heard. And it was apparently not like in the text; it was something that he had added.
Oh yeah, no, Max is really good about improvising a bunch of stuff with Ito.
Yeah. Anyways, great impressions. Thank you for indulging me. That was
yeah, of course.
Okay, so I did want to talk to you a little bit about a huge issue we're seeing in society right now.
Oh, God.
We live in a society in which there is AI in art.
Oh, fuck.
Yes, in entertainment. I did see that you weighed in on this topic a little bit on Twitter, and I did appreciate your perspective on it.
Yeah.
Because someone claimed that people who are upset about AI in art and entertainment are just being emotional, and that yes, and AI being in every field will benefit humanity in the long run, so the downsides and ethical concerns are worth it. They said that if they could get a cheap burger made by a robot for $4, they'd choose that over a $12 burger made by a human chef. And you had a pretty good reply.
Yeah.
About how in science and medicine, yes, it can be useful, but fuck AI when it comes to artists and entertainment. And also, with the burger analogy, you described this image. AI has already attempted drinks like Coca-Cola, and it tastes like cough medicine, so fuck AI. And I personally really I agree with you, but it also scared me looking at that burger because I couldn't help but see this dystopian future taking shape where AI produces gray slop for food, but it's working at the scale and speed humans cannot match. And so people just keep buying it. It's scary as hell. So I wanted to ask you about this future with AI and art. I'm worried about the future where people feel like people on tight budgets feel like they are forced to settle for less and less,
which is crazy. It's even crazier because SAG-AFTRA did agree to a thing with AI voices, and I was like, who did you ask? Because you didn't ask us.
Wait, what?
Yeah, SAG-AFTRA about a month ago agreed with a company specifically, but it was just that company.
Okay.
And it needed to be consensual. So I was like, okay, the consent is cool, but this is bullshit because we didn't consent. You didn't ask us.
Yeah.
So it was that.
That's the biggest problem. There's a lot of problems, but I wanted
consent,
to give you a chance.
I talked about this briefly yesterday, and here's the thing. I do think AI can be a useful tool to help out artists and musicians and everything, but there's a time and place, right? Because I've seen people be like, oh, I'll just AI a model, or like a VTuber model, or I'll AI hell, even Marvel is AIing their entire Secret Invasion intro, and I was like, dude, this sucks. And I was watching a game theory video or a film theory video. Who cares? This is the same thing. And they were talking about how with more exposure and you not realizing it, folks are just gonna not even notice. Which I'm like, that is the unfortunate truth, but I hope people call it out every time.
It's absolutely worth defending the human touch in art. There's
because there is so much. If there is a thing the AI can do to help the animators, I think I saw Ross talk about how if it helps fill in the colors of a drawing, right? I'm like, sure. I mean, hell, animation has tweening, which is technically filling in the blanks for you. But even then, you still have to add the adjustments. It doesn't do the work.
Right.
And AI doesn't work unless you have artists feeding the thing.
Right.
And that's the big issue that people, there's a good amount of people that don't register that still needs the human touch, but for how long is the unfortunate thing? Because if you keep feeding it, then the human touch is just gone, and they're not going to give a fuck because the big companies, they're like, we want the thing done,
Oh my god, it's so creepy. When you talk about feeding it, it's feeding this machine,
feeding the monster.
Yes.
Yeah, I will say I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, but it seems like Taylor Swift is doing way more fighting against AI than any other company or fucking creator I've ever seen, more than the government, because I don't know if you heard this, they AI'd her for porn.
Yeah.
And she's suing the shit out of the company.
Thank God.
But it's made so many more people vocal about AI. The government is looking into it. The SAG-AFTRA is we're a help, which they probably won't, because Taylor can probably handle herself. But it's really funny because I've seen a lot of people be like, oh, so when it's your job being affected, that's when AI is bad. I'm like, no. It's not just my job. I fucking hate AI in general. If it's helpful to the people, with medicine, I'm not talking about it's oh yes, have a fucking robot perform the surgery. I would not trust a robot performing surgery on me. If it's a tool that is helping the doctor, sure.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I like sci-fi and I like Star Wars, but if I saw that shit modern day, I'm not gonna trust the Mark I robot AI surgeon of anything. It's I don't trust the Mark I of a fucking iPhone because it's gonna be faulty. I'm not gonna trust the Mark I surgeon robot because that robot is probably gonna split my innards, just slice up my heart or something. And it's I've made a fatal error. And it's what? Oh, we didn't feed it enough information from our surgeon at the back.
Yes. I agree. It's like with the cars with the AI that you have to program them if they're going to hit someone on the sidewalk.
Exactly. That needs time. Like you can't just like it needs time to process, but also it's just it needs to be delegated. I don't know. That's just me.
I think that
like, obviously I will say this. I did see that. Obviously, I responded to the post, and it's like how people get emotional. Of course, folks get emotional. I feel like you can't not get emotional about this. Logically speaking, it's like, sure, in the future, AI will be a useful tool. I mean, in movies and in cartoons, like that's the future, right? The future is that robots are helping, AI is helping, like, but in all of those movies, or half of those movies, they talk about how AI is like not always a good thing, or they'll turn. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not saying Skynet and all that shit's going to happen. I don't know. But it needs time and progress, and it needs to be done right.
Yeah.
Not just stealing information. Like, I mean, these companies like Adobe and these Zoom are literally, even Discord has like stuff that will take your information unless you opt out of it, but they won't tell you that they've even implemented that thing in there.
Oh my God.
Like the only way I found out about half this shit is because people on Twitter are talking about it. Like literally on Discord, this conversation right now could be recorded teaching some fucking text-to-speech bot right now because of a setting that Discord added.
Oh my God. So the AI really is in the room with us right now.
Yeah, like, I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, it's not even a meme.
I can't wait for everybody to call me a boomer.
Yeah, well, I mean, they already calling me a boomer. Have you, I guess, really what it comes down to is about the consensual usage of creative material. Mm-hmm. Like, to me, it's insane that anybody could just, like, wave that away. Like, it's not a huge concern.
Yeah. It is a person-by-person basis.
Yeah.
I feel. Because, like, I mean, if you're a fan of Star Wars.
Of course.
James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
Legend.
Yes.
For the Kenobi show, his voice is AI for Vader.
Oh.
He consented to that. He consented to his voice being used through AI for Darth Vader.
Oh my God.
And I'm sure the paycheck was crazy. And I think the reason he did that was to secure funds for his family. And he's also old. Like, like I love James. Like, he's a phenomenal actor. But I was trying to think of it from his point of view. He's in his 90s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm sure for him, it's probably like either it's like, well, I don't have the energy I used to, or I just don't want to get up, or I want to make sure that my family is secured for the rest of his life. And it's such a double-edged sword, right? Because I get why he would do it if that is the case. But then you could also take that you could have passed the torch to someone and they could have helped them and their family, you know? Yeah. So I understand both sides, and it's so weird. So.
Well, I really appreciate that you can see the nuance in that, because many people have a hard time seeing nuance in situations where it's not that clear cut. You know?
Yeah, like I always try to see the perspective of like different, like not just myself, even with the AI thing, like not even referring to the James Earl Jones things, but like AI in general. When I see any sort of like drama or anything on Twitter or in real life, I try to, but then I'm informed that I'm like, okay, well, clearly I'm sided this way, right? But yeah, it is a tough space where, especially when folks are like, you have to take a side, and I was like, but it's not as black and white as you think, especially with AI.
Absolutely, right? Nothing is, from what I've seen. Have you been offered deals where they're like, give us your voice to feed our AI and you'll get royalties? Or where they try to like sneak it in,
Yes, actually. I got it was a video game. I'm not gonna say which one because NDAs. But I turned it down. It was like a project that I was like, oh, that'd be cool. And then I was like, oh wait, AI? I need something in my contract that says no. And they're like, well, the studio has said that the developers won't use it for AI. Like, and I was like, okay, so they can guarantee that. and they're like, no, then no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
That's silly. Like, you're telling me two different things. So.
Wow. I can't imagine what that is like, because I mean, going forward, I feel like these things are just going to become more and more common.
Yeah.
I feel like, though, there's a thing that I wish people valued more, which is that sense of connection that you get when you perceive something that someone else has created. It's like the humanity in art speaks to the humanity in yourself, and it makes you feel more connected to humans on the whole planet. You know what I mean?
I mean, for me, like, I personally like to support artists.
Yeah.
Like, I have so many prints of characters I've voiced, mainly because I'm just like, this art is cool. But I do feel like there's a difference for me when I see like, oh, this person made this art that's so cool. And then when I see AI art, I was like, that's okay. Like, it takes away some of the magic. But I know not everybody feels like that, which sucks. But like, I don't expect every single human on the planet having the same exact mentality as I do, because then we'd just be one giant echo chamber, right?
Yes. That is based. That is very based and Cyyu pilled. Do you feel like is resistance futile though? Like
with AI?
I'm scared.
Resistance is futile, dear Lord.
Pick me up, I'm scared.
I don't think it's futile.
Okay.
But like, I mean, here's the thing. It's kind of like with the Genshin drama currently happening, right?
Okay.
Like, folks want to be heard.
Yeah.
And it's the same stance here.
Yeah.
Artists want to be heard. They want to be treated right.
Yeah.
Just like Genshin players want to be treated right, want to be treated well.
Yeah.
Like, why are you going to devalue something that they've put their time and effort and borderline their soul into?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, I don't think it's futile.
That's good.
It's tough. It's tough because sometimes the easier path is like, sometimes folks just want to take the easy path, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And rather than do the hard work. But man, personally, and this is just, again, my mentality, I just feel like there's just so much more love when you get through the end of that struggle of like putting in that hard work and then you see it, rather than just taking the easy road.
Yeah, absolutely true. And this is something that gamers and, as a consumer, you can keep in mind too. Like, you can also support, real voice artists in games, and games that choose to hire real voice actors, and in books that are illustrated by real artists and all this stuff. Like, you do have some power here as a consumer. Now, I do want to ask about VTubing, because it's the first time I've been chatting with a VTuber, so it's really cool.
Killing two birds with one stone.
Would you say that your experience as a voice actor for certain characters has influenced your persona as a VTuber, or even like your real persona?
Well, funny enough, like my VTuber, when I first started VTubing, everybody kind of had like a persona for their VTuber. I kind of just did my thing.
Yeah.
Like, I thought about it, like, it literally, this persona lasted a day. Like the persona of Cyyu lasted a single day, and then the following day, like, I was like, "Hey, it's me! What up, fuckers?" But like,
oh my God.
It's very funny because, like, I mean, I just tried to be my unapologetic self. And I know that a lot of people are like, oh, his name is Cyyu because of Sino and Jing Yuan. And I'm like, no, it's a joke on Cyborg Cyyu. It's the first two letters on Cyborg and the last two letters on Cyyu, which is Cyyu is a Japanese voice actor.
Oh.
Yeah. So Cyyu.
Okay. That's cool.
And but I get it, because Sino and then Yuan and Jing Yuan, right? That was just happy coincidence.
Yeah, that's cool. I totally relate to your like desire to just be your authentic self. As a streamer, I face a similar challenge. I mean, you're also a streamer. I don't know why I said it like that. But I totally relate to this, like the pressure to have a persona. I was never very, very good at that. I never really wanted to do that. I like just chilling, being myself as much as I can. But you were going to say something and I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, like a lot of people think I made my persona about dad jokes because of Sino. Like I would make terrible puns prior to that. It's actually because of my partner and two of my friends, my partner Hayden, my friend Howard and Felicia. They would constantly bombard me with puns and dad jokes that I eventually just started doing them myself. And then Cyno came after. I won't deny that I get asked to tell dad jokes because of Cyno. So, I mean, that's why I have the list at the ready, but I mainly do that to entertain folks. Right. But I don't make it my whole personality.
Okay.
And I mean, yeah, I mean, my whole personality is just a sci-fi nerd that likes Mega Man, and that's kind of what my model is based out of. It's based off Mega Man and Digimon and the Azure Gunvolt Striker series. Mm-hmm. So,
well, I'm going to lock the doors and force you to watch TNG now. This podcast is actually going to last 30 hours. I'm kidding. So can you describe, can you describe the process of creating your VTuber avatar? Like what you were designing on. Its design is super cool. And it's like, you got stuff, digital stuff going on. So what was the process design?
Funny enough, like, this design, so I just debuted this design back like last Saturday. it was fairly recent.
Oh my gosh, what a good timing for the franchise.
But before this, I had a shark model, which was a joke off a buddy of mine, because I voiced a character named Shallot from Dragon Ball Legends, and he made a whole joke about like how he would wear a shark suit like Katy Perry's. And for years, folks were asking me, get a shark suit.
Oh, like left shark?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Left shark. Okay. So I'm a huge fan of Power Rangers, and I was like, well, I'll make this a Halloween costume where I make like a shark Power Ranger outfit for my VTuber. And it ended up kind of being a staple. But the whole inspiration for the design is just like, it was between Mega Man, Gunvolt from Azure Striker Gunvolt, Cave Story, and then the color palette, I just kind of like the colors, and that's kind of what we went with. For this design, I've had the concept of this design since like 2021, 2022. Like it was like fairly early when I started VTubing, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, the villain Cyyu, haha." And I don't see this model as a villain anymore, but when it first came up, that's how it kind of started.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we took inspiration from like Mega Man Star Force. We looked at a lot of designs of like Mega Man X Dive, which was a Mega Man gacha game, because there was a lot of cool designs on there. The arm is actually designed off a game I hate.
What game?
It's called Mighty Number 9.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
And the reason why I looked into that is because they have it was made by Keiji Inafune, and he originally was helming Mega Man, but he made his own thing through Kickstarter and it flopped. But they had a character there. Her name was Ray, and she was a combination of Zero and Bass. Oh. And she had this really cool, like, beast robotic looking arm thing with Data. And I was like, I really like that. And that's why, like, when I'm not crossing my arms, it's like Data with a gun. So,
can you do like blushing and sweating and cool stuff?
Oh, yeah. Like, I can, honestly, with the visor, it's like,
Oh, wow. There's all kinds of stuff. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, there's like little sweat drops and the shocked.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, there's even like glasses. I can even change. So right now I have it in like longish hair, but normally the hair is short. There's also a braid. Normally I have wings. Oh man, but you're cropped into this little overlay for the funcast, so I can't see it all. Well, there's also a coat. Oh yeah, that's awesome. So if Cyyu, the VTuber, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? Oh god!
Like if you have a
teleportation.
Really? I thought it might.
Or manipulation of time.
Really, I thought it might be psionics.
Ha ha ha! Boo!
I've been waiting to pull that one out for a little while here. What has been what's been the biggest surprise for you since starting as a VTuber?
The reception.
Okay.
Because for me, so before VTubing, I was doing IRL content, right? And I had been doing, funny enough, I was doing content creating way before I was a voice actor. And I wanted a complete rebrand. So, because look, I loved making content IRL, but I stopped having fun with it like a while before I retired the account. And it was just, look, I love Dragon Ball, but some Dragon Ball fans can get too much. And they were getting way too much near the end of it. Then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a complete rebrand. And if the folks that like me, then they'll know where to find me. And they did. The folks that have found me, they're like, I actually prefer this. And I'm glad that I did the rebrand because the reception for it has been insane. Like, I mean, for the original model, it was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I didn't know you could do this. And the shark model came out and they're like, I love his hair. But with this brand new model, folks are like, holy crap, I really like this design. It's unique. It's cool. Yeah. And I was like, really? I was really scared people were not going to like this model.
What? Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's insane. It looks super cool.
Well, it's just so drastically different in comparison to the previous models. Because the last model I had, like, not drastically, but the color palette, like, because folks knew me for blue or for, like, silver and purple. But this is, like, black and pink and like, this digital stuff. Also, I have heels. Like, it's, yeah.
What? Wait, you can get up and, like, walk around?
I mean, if you want, I can.
Yeah. Can you do it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Nice. Oh, wow, that's so cool. I can see the whole thing now.
Yeah, like I can even slim it down and...
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you were going to make me get a VTuber model for myself.
Do it.
One time,
it's expensive, I will say.
One time somebody called me a wannabe VTuber. What does that mean?
It means that
I don't know
that you have VTuber energy, but you haven't done it yet.
Maybe. Okay, so we have some questions from the Bun Buns that we've sourced from the Bun Buns. So I'd like to ask some of those. One of our Bun Buns, Marcia, asks, what is your favorite video game of all times?
Psychonauts.
Wow, that was fast.
Yeah, Psychonauts. Psychonauts 1 and 2 are my favorite games of all time.
That was so quick.
It is a game about diving into the human mind.
I have not played it.
Highly recommend. If you like 3D platformers like Banjo-Kazooie or Super Mario 64, that kind of thing, it's very much like that. And basically what you do is you play as this carny named Rasputin, and you run away from the circus. I know this sounds extremely weird.
Sounds good so far. Weird as
well. And you go to psychic camp. Oh. And there you are wanting to earn your merit badges so then you can become a psychonaut. But your parents are going to pick you up in 3 days because the camp basically tattled on you and where you were. While you're earning your merit badges, there's this weird thing happening around camp. Kids have gone missing, and then when they show back up, they have no brains. So
well,
then there's this...
If it was me, they wouldn't notice a difference.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of characters. They make jokes about that.
Okay.
But every level in the game is diving into someone's psyche. Like, you literally jump into their mind, and that is the level.
Cool. That's awesome.
And then Psychonauts 2 is like, imagine if the game grew up with you, because the game didn't come out until like 15, 16 years later. And the second game tackles on more adult themes. And it's like, I hope you're ready for different types of depression.
I think Genshin Impact cured my depression, actually.
Well,
I'm pretty sure that did happen.
It's a good game. It's a good cozy game.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're playing the story and then you realize how sad and tragic it actually is.
I love suffering, so that's worked out.
Yeah.
I love crying. So next question from the Buns. Who is the favorite character you voiced?
Okay, I know this is going to sound cheesy. It changes day to day.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah, it changes day to day because I give a different answer every day.
Okay. What's today's answer?
Today's answer is very niche.
Okay.
There's this game called Disgaea, and I grew up with this franchise, and I got to voice the main character for the 7th game that came out in October of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And his name is Fuji, and he's just a demon who is allergic to empathy, and if you like strategy RPGs, I highly recommend.
Nice. Okay. A demon who's addicted to energy.
No, a demon who's allergic to empathy. So like if you say sorry or thank you or you're such a good guy, he starts coughing up blood.
Oh, why did I mishear that so terribly? That's weird. That's really strange. Anyway, what is your... Okay, next question from the Buns.
Okay.
From Methel. What is your favorite Archon quest in Genshin?
Oh, that's tough. I really, really, really like the last Archon quest in Fontaine.
Me too.
Dude,
It was so good.
It was so... It's crazy because I called everything.
Uh-huh.
Literally, in the first Archon quest of Fontaine, I'd be like, you know what would be insane? If this happens.
Oh, no.
And I called 95% of every single beat. I was like, I can't believe I called the majority of this. And it's so funny because people are like, well, obviously you're in the game. I haven't recorded for Genshin in months. They don't tell me anything.
You're psychically tuned.
Dude, the joke that I have with my chat is that I have the script.
Oh. Yeah, you just have the script.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next question from the Buns. What did you enjoy about your roles in Genshin Impact? We kind of covered this already, but
yeah,
if you have anything else to add?
I mean, I just love that Sino gets to be, both serious and not serious,
Yeah.
and it's just cool seeing him off the clock. One of my favorite things to do as Sino was the Windbloom Festival, because he's just so excited about the card back from the Genius Invocation TCG, over in Mondstadt. I was like, this dude is so adorable. And he's just along for the ride, making terrible jokes. It's great. And he became friends with Albedo. Like, I was like, oh, this is sweet.
Yeah. I think I actually missed that particular event. That's one of the things I'll have to watch.
Oh, yeah. If you started last year?
Yeah.
When last year?
Late February, I think it was.
Ooh, you may just have missed the event.
I did.
Because I think it was like in April? May?
Yeah, when I first started, I avoided events for a while.
You know what? That's fair, because if you did do the event while you were I don't even think they would have let you do the event, now that I think about it, if you weren't caught up with the story.
Yeah, maybe not. Have you ever thought about playing the critically acclaimed Final Fantasy XIV online? With the
I have played it, and I got super overstimulated.
Oh, what?
Dude, when I launched Final Fantasy XIV and there is a menu and names everywhere, it is, I'm telling you this now, it's not a bad game. It is not new player friendly.
Yeah, true. Very true.
That is, I do want to play it again because I made a promise to my partner that I would, but I really like that painter thing they introduced, or they're going to introduce.
Oh yeah, Pictomancer.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That thing looks fun. I would try it, but then I was also told that I may not be able to try it out right off the bat.
Yeah, but you have plenty of time to get up to speed.
I guess.
Are you aware of the free trial that goes up to level 70?
I think I bought it.
Oh my gosh.
I think I own it. I just haven't played it.
Okay. Well, if you ever want to play, you know how to get in touch. I can always give you advice. So I think that we are pretty much covered everything here. So I guess it might be time to sign off.
Oh, sign off.
Sign off.
Nice.
I thought that one was okay. I thought it was pretty decent.
I know, I like it.
Okay. So how do you
sign off.
Yes, I know. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right. Do you have any additional things you want to add? Maybe questions for me or anything you might want to, plug?
Are you playing the future critically acclaimed Persona 3 Reload on February 2nd?
That's tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even know about it. I mean, I could. Yeah, maybe.
Anyway.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, if you got 100 hours to spare.
Okay.
I do recommend it.
I should.
Yeah.
But what about Psychonauts? I thought I needed to play that first. Which one should I play first?
Persona.
Okay.
Is it biased? 100%.
Okay. All right. Well, do you have any? Where can people find you? All the deets on that.
You can find me on Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram, and Twitter at Cyyu VTuber. And if you ever wanted to watch a VOD of mine, like if a stream that you've missed, make sure to go to Cyyu VODs.
Are you on Instagram? Do you do?
I am.
Do you do
Cyyu
shorts?
VTuber.
You're doing shorts and stuff?
I do shorts, I do reels, I do TikTok, I do everything.
Where do you get the time to do all this stuff?
I hire people.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't do it myself.
Oh, okay. All right, that makes sense. That's a good idea.
Yeah, with my schedule, there's no way.
Yeah. All right, well, I really appreciate you coming on. I had a fantastic time chatting with you.
Yeah, this was super
It was
fun.
awesome. So I hope maybe you'll come back again in the future. I will be in touch if so. And of course, you can always write me if you're interested in playing the Final Fantasy 14. But thanks again for coming on the show. Bun Buns, thank you so much for watching. I just want to thank all of you who are supporting the stream and the Buncast through Twitch subs and through Patreon. That is how we're able to keep the lights on around here. So thank you for that. And that's all for today. That's all, everyone. Bye. Yeah. Okay, bye. Thank you again for coming on.
Yeah,
bye.
of course.
Bye.